Accra Hearts of Oak just briefly. I don't have highlights of their game, but they lost their game. They lost to Pando Hearts of Lions, and that means that Abubakar Ouattara is in more trouble. Now, after the last game, fans of the club started protesting. They said Abubakar Ouattara needs to be out of the club. Now, that would mean a continuation of the cycle. Remember, they had a white, a Caucasian they brought from Serbia not too long ago.
That's from the Dutch, Martin Koopman.
Before Koopman, the man who had to file a police report.
Marco.
He was chased.
I think Marco Slavic or what.
Him. He was chased for the training ground before they brought Koopman in.
Yeah.
Koopman said that our whole national setup has striking issues. They brought in Abubakar Ouattara. Ouattara has lost more games than he's won as Hearts of Oak manager. Now, let me read the stats to you. It's crazy right now. He's lost 9 games, won 7, and drawn 3. Now, they've scored 22 goals and conceded 22 in that time where he's been head coach. Now, Hearts of Oak have Bechem United to play, Nations FC, and Adriana Stars to come.
And these are teams that they lost against last season.
Echo, hard to continue with Ouattara, or you think that this marriage will just not?
No, I think it will end abruptly. Honestly, I think last season the reason why they kept him last season was, okay, this is a manager they've brought him in. We've given a 2-year contract. We can't just let him go because we're going to pay a huge sum.
We are just sacked.
Exactly, a Koopman.
Yeah.
So we can't. I mean, they are looking at they were looking at the quantum of money that they were going to give to Ouattara. But I think this marriage, I don't think it will last. And the last time that I was on two weeks ago when I was on Football Made in Ghana when we were previewing the season, I told Abe that I don't see Abubakar Ouattara surviving this season. And surprisingly, they lost to Basake United, Basake Holy Stars.
That's crazy.
A new side.
Yep.
No Premier League experience. They conceded as early as the 2nd minute and they were not able to come back. Now, when they were going to play Hearts of Lions, I was telling him that I was listening to an interview by their head coach Bashir Hayford, and he said, "I'm going to beat Hearts of Oak, but I will not tell you the scoreline." And indeed, they've gone there, and Hearts of Oak have lost.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that, and the stats that he just read out is crazy. It's not a joke. I mean, 19 games, and then you are losing. I mean,
he's
9,
lost 7,
and
draw 3.
This
22 goals scored, 22 conceded.
This Hearts of Oak, this is one of the biggest clubs in this country.
And the irony is that Accra Hearts of Oak have elevated their status in terms of infrastructure.
Exactly.
They've tried to spread out their wings and try to become a big boy club on the off-pitch side of things. But on the pitch, things
they are still struggling. So for me, I think that, I mean, you can't say I'm sacking all the players and then you maintain the coach.
Ultimately, so the manager must go.
Yeah, for me, I think that, and you see, I think that there is something about this Hearts of Oak. I think they need to figure it out. Because I was telling him when we were coming on air that last season they brought in Kofi Agboshima from Bechem United. Brilliant defender. After just signing 2.5 year season, playing after just a season, he said, "No, I can't play for Hearts of Oak again." This is a club that they keep on signing some of the best players in this country, but they still can't perform. One or two reasons. So for me, I think that
they keep getting a lot of hot prospects.
Exactly, and for me, I think that it's a major issue that those who are running the club and then the majority shareholder of the club, they need to sit down and then figure it out. And I think it's about time that they also need to bring in people who have the requisite experience to run this club. It can't always be some particular group of people.
The triplets.
Exactly. It's worrying. And for me, I think that the defeat to Hearts of Lions, I think that it's going to get crazy. And last week, you should remember that after the defeat to Basake Holy Stars, Ouattara was not at the presser, at post-match presser.
The fans want his head.
And the same thing happened today. And so for me, I think that ultimately, listen, Tobe will have to take the decision. But I think that the people who are running the club also, because I'll just give you an example. You remember prior to last season, they hired Sebastian Bunce, a former legend of the club. They employed him as a scout. Midway through the season, he said, "I've stopped because the club have failed to honor some of his promises and some of the things that I was expecting the club to do. They failed." So I think there is an internal issue that must be dealt with, and some people, in my opinion, at the club don't deserve to be there.
Then it's two things. Hearts have changed coaches on numerous occasions since Samuel Boedu. It's not working. What is the guarantee that changing Ouattara will work again? And also, talk to me about their goal scoring issues, because I realize that it's a big issue for them. In the game against Basake Holy Stars, we saw the team miss sitters. Now, they don't create a lot of chances. When they do, they create really good ones that they can't seem to put away.
Okay, so you see, is the reason why I'm sad for Ouattara, because, like you mentioned, a lot of coaches have come in, they've been chop and changing all the time.
Yep.
The problems at Hearts of Oak started when it started with. I always say that they missed that opportunity. They had a chance to build on something, and they just let it go. And I feel that that's where the whole problem started from. And you watch. Listen, when you watch Hearts, I watched the first game. Hearts is playing Division 2 football. No, that's a level, that's a standard of Hearts of Oak. And let's be honest, if it's based on how the kind of football they played last season, they should have been relegated.
Yeah.
Purely based on their football last season.
We all know why they weren't relegated.
Exactly, we all know that. So it's like watching Hearts of Oak, it's like there's nothing different from what they are doing and what they did last season. And that is my fear, because there seems to be no improvement. And I understand why Ouattara could be sacrificed, because we all know in the world of football, like you said, you can't sack all the players. But my problem is that what kind of recruitment is Hearts of Oak doing? Because
just a bit, Ben, you watch Hearts of Oak recruitment. I think they brought in about 12 or 13 players. Out of those 13 players, just 4 of them are Premier League players. The rest of them are from Division 1.
And that's a problem for me, because this is Hearts of Oak. The standards are very high. And like you say, talk about the goal scoring thing. I was surprised myself, because they get in front of goal. Even you could see that players are panicking in the opposition box.
From point blank range, 6 yards out.
And this is not Hearts of Oak levels.
Yeah. No.
You know, this is supposed to be one of the best. And is, for me, I also observed it, because there seemed to be no cut-out plan for you to get a ball past the goalkeeper. And it could be coaching, yes, but at the end of the day, the levels of the players do not impress me. And that's because if you watch the first game, like I mentioned, it was very poor to lose that game. And there was nothing about that game that made you think that Hearts will go to Pando and win that match. There was no way, because it was very evident that this is a team that is really struggling. And you mentioned Bechim being the next game. It's obvious based on what you have seen. They're going to lose again. So I understand if they're going to start Ouattara, because there needs to be a change. Because if Hearts continues the way they are going, you are talking about relegation. And they might not be safe this time around.
Accra Hearts of Oak started the season really on a very, very poor note once again. I'm sure fans of the club are not happy at all. Hearts of Oak fans, especially if you are watching, I want you to tell me what you want to change about your team. And what do you think is also wrong with your team? We'll have the WhatsApp number there on your screen, just so you can text into the show and tell us how you feel. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into European football. There's a lot to chew on as far as the Premier League is concerned. We'll go to the Spanish La Liga and the German Bundesliga as well. So stay with us here on Scorecard on Channel 1 TV. We'll be right back.